Good morning, Rabotai, and welcome back to Breakfast in the Class, Kotel edition. We want to say a tremendous Chazak Baruch and congratulations to my son-in-law, Natan Alamanov, and to my daughter, Shoshana. Last night, Natan received his smicha, the first leg of his becoming a rabbi. He's now a rabbi. So I came out for one day to support and to show how important Limud Torah is to our family and what it means. And I'll be back, Bezrat Hashem, right away to America. But I figured while I'm here at the site of the Beit HaMikdash, the place where the actual miracle of Chanuka occurred. So you think about the fact that all those years ago, on this day, right behind me, the miracle of Chanuka was actually taking place. So I don't know if you can see, they have set up over here a giant menorah. I don't know if you can see it all the way there in the back. It's something special to think about. I don't know if you could see it. It's right there. Yeah, you see that big gold menorah? Back in those days and in these days as well. And they light it at the nighttime on Chanukah. But during the time of the actual miracle taking place, this is what you would have seen. You would have seen the candles lit already on their fourth day, going strong, ready to go for another 4 days as well. So I thought today to share with you a beautiful idea. Today's Divrei Torah are dedicated Li'ilui Nishmat Edmund Safra Alav Shalom, and as well as a Refuah Shlema for Chana Bat Sima Fega. There's a standard halakha, and the halakha tells us that women are not obligated in mitzvot from the Torah that are Ziman Gerama, which means that are associated with time. And if a mitzvah is time-bound, then a woman is patur from that mitzvah. So as an example, tefillin during the day, right? You don't like wear tefillin at night, tzitzit during the day. A woman is not obligated in that mitzvah because it's a Zman Gerama mitzvah. So, of course, that law only applies to positive commandments and not negative commandments. So, any positive commandment which is Zman Gerama, a woman is not obligated. And the Gemara says there are exceptions to this, and one of the classic exceptions is the idea of Chanukah and the idea of Purim. And the reason why there's an exception is because Af hen hayu be'oto hanes, they also were included in that miracle. And Tosafot says that there's two explanations for the idea of Af hen hayu be'oto hanes. Two explanations for the fact that they were part of the miracle. One is that they were also saved from the miracle, so therefore they need to celebrate too. But also, a second idea is that they were part of the miracle. So in the story of Purim, it's not just that women also were saved because the Jews were saved, but rather they played an active role in saving the Jewish people, in the fact that Esther and her heroism was the catalyst, the itaruta dilutata for this beautiful miracle. So too in the story of Chanukah, it is recorded that Yehudit actually extended herself. She risked her life to go and get the Greek general Heliporni. She cut off his head, and that was a huge element, a big blow to the Greek forces when they saw that their commander was dead. This woman Yehudit, in fact, many girls that are born on the holiday of Chanukah, they have that name. They take the name Yehudit. So my friends, I want to add and I want to talk a little bit about this idea, about the heroism of women. Af hen hayu be'oto hanes. They too were in this miracle. You know, the idea that men are doing great things in the Keilah, there's no question that is true. Men do great things. And there's also no question that women do great things. But sometimes there's a moment, an inflection point in time, where what's required is not only the Mesirut Nefesh of the men, but also a tremendous Mesirut Nefesh of the women. And without Yehudit, ostensibly the miracle of Chanukah doesn't take place. Without Chana, B'shiva Baneha, Chana, a woman who has 7 children, each one of them die al Kiddush Hashem rather than worship the idols of Antiochos. This is an unbelievable expression of the Mesirut Nefesh, of the self-sacrifice, of the commitment to Judaism that the Jewish people had that enabled the miracle of Chanukah to burn bright. Without a Chana, without a Yehudit, without a Esther, these holidays are not possible. And I think that on some level, that is true now as well. Now, on one end, of course, you have all the challah bakes that are happening, and you have all the Tehillim chats that are happening, and there are great things that are taking place in that realm. But I think that there is also a call right now for the af hen hayu be'oto hanes, for women of Am Yisrael to stand up and to do some great act of self-sacrifice. And I don't know, and it's not really for me to say what that is, because I'm not a woman, and therefore I can't tell a woman what that should be. But from the women should rise an element, a chizuk, maybe in their special mitzvot. You know, we know that the woman has 3 mitzvot that are uniquely hers, and they are so much a part of her life force, says the pasuk, says the Mishnah, for 3 sins, nashim metot b'shat lidatam. Do women pass? They pass away in the time of their giving birth. First of all, themselves dying, but second of all, also causing tremendous danger to the child as well. Why is it that a woman is punished so severely? There's such a powerful response to the fact that a woman has not done correctly nidah, halah, and hadlakat areh, these 3 mitzvot. And I think that the answer is that these 3 mitzvot represent the mitzvot that are uniquely a woman's. Of course, if a woman is not in a man's life, he has a mitzvah to do challah. If a woman is not in a man's life, he has a mitzvah to light Shabbat candles, etc., etc. So it's not that it's only, but it belongs to the woman. I want to add even more than that. Our rabbis tell us that the Chashmonaim, they stood up and they did something unbelievable. But after the story of their heroism and their uprising, they decided to take power for themselves, not just to be the Kohanim and the heroes of the Jewish people, but also to be the kings of the Jewish people. And thus began the Hasmonean dynasty, the kings that came from the Chashmonaim. And what started off as great tzaddikim doing unbelievable things, ultimately wound up becoming corrupt kings, holding on to power, holding on to money, holding on to greed. And eventually, the Gemara tells us that every single member of the Chashmonaim died, and there was not a single remnant from their family. And part of the reason for that, the Gemara says, is because they seized kingship, and kingship belongs to Yehuda. Lo Yasfur Shevet mi Yehuda, belongs to the tribe of Judah. However, it's a strange thing. It does not say in the Torah that if someone takes kingship for themselves and they die, it doesn't say that the mitzvah of the idea of Lo Yasfur Shevet mi Yehuda, that it belongs to the Davidic dynasty, that's a mitzvah, or that's an inyan which is punishable by the death penalty. So why is it not only death penalty, but karet, the whole family is wiped out? So why is that? Why did that happen? And I think that the answer to that question is the answer to ours as well. And that is that the Chashmonaim, they have a role to play. The Kohanim have a role to play. The kings, they have a role to play. When a Kohen, generation after generation, plays the role of a king, a role that's not his own, he no longer has a connection to his own life force. Our life force, our health, our success is driven by the fact that we're fulfilling the role that we're supposed to be fulfilling here. Our mission, we think of ourselves all the time, Hashem, please give me the strength to complete my mission. Please give me the strength to do my job. Please give me the strength to be the husband, the father, the rabbi, the leader, the teacher, whatever that I am. But we don't realize is it's not that we have strength and we use that strength for that mission. It is the mission that gives us strength. It is the job that gives us power. And that job, my friends, when we're not doing that job, when they cut themselves off from their job, from their life force, what happened? There was no more life force for this family. And I would like to suggest that that's the same thing. A woman has a role, and part of her role, her unique power, is nidah, halab, adlakat taner, which actually are the letters chana b'shira banea, and be'ezrat Hashem fu'ashina fachana b'atzim fega. My friends, those things, they are the chen china, they are the chen, the beauty, the grace of every woman. And when a woman does not do those mitzvot, then she's cutting herself off from a source of unbelievable power. And what is a child? Is an extension, bira kara de avua. A son is the thigh of his father, and ubar, and a child, yerech imo, is the thigh as well of his mother. And if that idea is true, then not only does she lose her life force for not fulfilling these mitzvot, so too, it's difficult for her to continue that life force in the form of giving birth to children. My friends, and especially the holy women of Am Yisrael, we're turning to you now on these days of Chanuka and asking, just like once, B'Yamim Ha'em, there was a tremendous miracle that happened through your efforts, through the powers of being a Jewish woman. So too, my friends, so too today, we need you. We need you to step up in your mitzvot, in the mitzvot of kashrut of a home, of the purity of the home, of the shalom bayit of a home represented by the candles of Shabbat, the kashrut of the halal, represented by nidah the taharat habayit, the purity of the house, what you let in and what you don't let in to your home. My friends, in this time, women, you have a chance to be able to bring home yet one more beautiful miracle. And those miracles are waiting on us. But this message is not only a message for women, it is a message for every person out there who has a challenge and who has a difficulty. That difficulty is your role, is your mission. God put you in that place to be able to do something great. Shying away from it, trying to play someone else's role, only diminishes your life force. Stepping into the role and standing up to the challenge only gives a person ever more strength. Be strong, be courageous in everything that you're standing against, and you'll see that the very act of standing against it causes it to melt away in the face of your courage. When Nachshon ben Aminadav takes his first step into the ocean, up until that point, there's an impenetrable barrier for the Jewish people. But Nachshon doesn't see a barrier. He sees an opportunity. Nachshon doesn't see a wall. He sees a chance, an opportunity for greatness. And he steps into the water. And he gets up to the point where he can't do anymore. And the minute he gets to the point where he cannot do anymore, what happens? Everything opens in front of him. I'm going to end with the words of Rav Nachman of Breslov. Rav Nachman of Breslov points out that the numerical value of Yush, of giving up hope, is 317. But the numerical value of Eliezer is 318. Yush means to give up. Eliezer means that God helps. Between giving up and God's help is one step. Can you take one more step? If you're tired, if you're suffering, if you're sad, if you are depressed, you know, the Chachamim tell us that a cure for depression, for sadness, for anxiety, is to stare at the lights of the Chanuka candle. Now, of course, there is a spiritual and mystical power to that. But I think as well, when a person looks at the candles and they realize how Am Yisrael has faced these impossible situations before, you know that that can happen once again for you, like it happened once before for your forefathers. Take one more step. Light one more candle, and you will see Yeshuat Hashem, the heavenly help comes, Kiherif Ayin, in the blink of an eye. Chag Chanukah Sameach.